What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Superpower Review, the show that brings you news and reviews on super cool comic book things. I'm your host, Ken Houdini, and you probably noticed something different. There's someone by my side here, and what we have is our first in-studio guest, Thomas Cordeiro, the host of Zombies Game Reviews. What's going on, buddy? How you doing?
Doing good. I'm happy we're doing this finally.
Yeah, thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. What are we doing today?
We are going to be discussing our top 4 favorite Spider-Man suits, because as you know, we are huge Spider-Man fans.
Yeah, we love Spider-Man. Spider-Man's awesome. And you know, as we all know, Spider-Man has a lot of costumes, a lot of suits over the years.
A lot.
So let's start by counting down our number 4, and you go ahead and go first.
All right, my number 4. I picked, this may not be a surprise to any fan of mine, but I picked Zombie Spider-Man as my number 4.
Ooh.
Zombie Spider-Man, obviously, Zombies Game Reviews, Zombie. I am a huge fan of zombies and stuff like that, and I absolutely... Who is Zombie Spider-Man?
No, who isn't a fan of zombies?
Oh. Yeah, who isn't a fan of zombies? Zombies are awesome.
You know, I'm glad you brought that up, because I didn't even think about Zombie Spider-Man, and you know, a lot of people love zombies. And you know, fun fact, the Marvel Zombies is what got me back to collecting comics in high school again.
Was it really?
It really was, yeah. It was a good storyline. I just love seeing superheroes
Get turned into zombies.
get turned into zombies and eating everything. It didn't really have a good story to it, but it was just fun seeing your favorite superheroes being
I'm assuming it was like
eaten.
your just traditional zombie apocalypse storyline, pretty much only with Marvel heroes.
Right. Zombie Spider-Man. That's pretty creative. I wish I had thought of him. And you know what? I'm pretty sad that I didn't put Zombie Spider-Man on the shelf of knickknacks over there. Womp womp womp.
Still, you got a really awesome shelf.
All right, number 4 for me. I brought some comic books because it is, after all, a comic book show. So my number 4 is going to have to be Iron Spider-Man.
Ooh.
Nice, yes. Iron Spider-Man's a big deal now these days because he's going to appear in the new Infinity War movies. It doesn't look quite like that, but it's all right. I don't really mind it. What do you think about it?
Not gonna lie, when I first saw the ending of Spider-Man Homecoming, spoilers by the way, I was kind of disappointed that wasn't really the Iron Spider suit, although when I saw the Infinity War trailer, it did look pretty cool, I'll admit. And I am excited for Infinity War. I mean, who isn't?
This was really cool, and this is a good read too if you don't have this comic. But it pretty much, Tony Stark Iron Man pretty much gives Spider-Man the costume he really deserves. It's more like almost like Batman's costume. You know what I mean? It has artificial intelligence in it. He's got those extra arms, which I could do probably without the arms actually.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the arms too. I guess to make him more like a spider, I guess, because obviously spiders have like 8 arms or 8 legs, I guess, and obviously with the additional arms, I think that makes 8. But still, I was not a fan of the arms.
Yeah, Iron Spider, definitely my number 4. You're number 3 there, good sir.
All right. I was going to do Iron Spider, but then I remembered this one suit, which was one of my favorites. It has got to be Spider-Man 2099. I absolutely adore the old one. I heard there is a new one. I'm not a huge fan of the new one. I love the old one. The old one
the
is...
blue and red one.
Yeah, the blue and red one, yes,
Yeah.
with like the little red cross-ish kind of thing.
It's it's like a red skull. And
It's like a red
spider
skull.
legs.
Red skull. Anyway. But anyway, Marvel jokes aside. Spider-Man 2099 has by far one of my favorite suits. I absolutely love the games he's in. Obviously, I am a huge game fan. And I love Spider-Man Edge of Time and Shattered Dimensions. I love playing as him in those games. He has one of the best suits, and he is all around awesome. I love Miguel O'Hara.
It is really cool. But do you think they kind of like ripped off Batman by giving him the red like spines on his arm, like the red spikes?
Yeah, I heard some people saying that like it was kind of it's a rip-off of Batman. It's a rip-off of Batman. I never really thought of it that way. I just kind of took it, and a lot of costumes that those days had like spikes and stuff like that.
Right.
Noticed.
I really enjoyed Spider-Man 2099. It's a really good story if you haven't read it. But I do have to agree, another great pick for the top 4 Spider-Man costumes. My number 3, definitely gonna have to go old school. This was one of my favorites as growing up as a kid. And I know it was my brother's top favorites too. My brother, when we used to draw together as kids, he would constantly draw this costume. And I'm gonna have to go with the Scarlet Spider that appeared in Web of Spider-Man number 118. So this one was one of my favorites too. It's just a different look for Spider-Man, and this is Ben Reilly, by the way, one of Peter Parker's clones. It just kind of was like a put-together costume. Like, he didn't really have anything, didn't have anything special, but he's just, you know what? Let's take this old sweatshirt, let's rip it up, put some red tighties on, and let's take care of business. But another one of my favorites. You see this cosplayed a lot. And I do have to be honest, it does look silly when people try to cosplay it.
Not gonna lie though, that costume reminds me of the one he uses in Spider-Man Homecoming. Do you actually notice that?
Yes, and a lot of people thought that was kind of an homage thing, or a lot of people thought that was kind of like an Easter egg of that movie.
That'd actually be kind of cool if it was.
Well, yeah, it was kind of an Easter egg for that movie, but that's exactly what we were saying about how, you know, it's just kind of one of those put-together suits, like real quick. You know what I mean? He didn't really have much, Ben Reilly, so he just kind of put up an old sweatshirt and some red tights, and went to go on fighting crime. But definitely Scarlet Spider, Ben Reilly's version. I know you have a different Scarlet Spider pick, so go ahead and pick yours.
I don't know 100% his name. Wasn't it like Kane?
It's Kane Parker.
Kane
yeah.
Parker. It's his Scarlet Spider suit.
This is number 2, correct?
Yes, number 2. This is my number 2. I am a huge diehard fan of the colors black and red, and when you put down Spider-Man, it's just amazing. I absolutely love his suit.
It is really cool.
I don't know much about the character himself because, keep in mind, I'm not really that much of a comic book person, although Kev is making me one.
Let the disease spread through your veins.
Disease spread. Just like how he's not really a game person and I am.
Yeah, I dip in. You know, I put my feet in once in a while, but go ahead. Go on with Kane
Same
Parker.
with me in comics, but I don't really know much about him. I did see the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon that was on like Disney XD, and he was in it. And I absolutely love the scenes he was in it, even though spoiler alert, he portrays Peter Parker in one of the episodes. But still, I absolutely loved Kane Parker, and I love his suit. His suit is by far one of my favorites.
Yeah, another really good pick that, you know, I didn't read too much about Kane Parker's Scarlet Spider comics. I don't really know too much either. I know about Kane Parker when he appeared in the early 90s comics. Just kind of another lost clone trying to find himself, and didn't really know who he was until Ben Reilly got killed, and then Kane Parker
He got killed. Oh.
Yeah, Ben Reilly was killed. He's back into comics now, so he has his own comic book title right now. It's just Ben Reilly, the Scarlet Spider. I picked up a couple of issues of it. Not a big fan of it, so I kind of dropped it. Didn't want to keep wasting my money on it, but it is kind of cool to see the original Scarlet Spider back in comic book titles now. So another good pick. I really like your choices here. Definitely my number 2. It's gonna go with the original comic, the original Spider-Man suit, and you're probably thinking, well, shouldn't that be number 1? Not in Kevin's world. This is number 2. Not my favorite. It's definitely not my favorite, as you know, who are familiar with the channel. So this is Spider-Man's original costume. This is obviously not the real Amazing Fantasy number 15. This is a reprint. If I had the real Amazing Fantasy number 15, I would be holding thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Or you can't even find one that's really not ripped up. But gonna have to go with the original suit. It's nice to see Spider-Man don on some different clothing once in a while, and it's kind of like a fresh breath of air. But it's also nice to see him go back into his original clothing. So definitely have to go with the original suit, the original red and blue suit. So go ahead.
All right. Now, before I say my number 1...
Should we do number 1 together?
Yeah, probably because if you didn't know, our number 1 picks are the same. I mean, to be fair, a lot of people might agree. Some people might disagree, saying like, oh, why didn't you put the original suit? Like, not that one, but like, you know, Spider-Man's
We're not
classic.
everybody else.
Yeah, we're not. Plus, we wanted to mix it up, you know, have like variety, I guess you could say. Like, we didn't want to just put like, oh yeah, these other ones, and then of course the original one and the number 1. But our number 1s, should we say at the same time,
Our number one is definitely, ready, 1, 2, 3.
The symbiote suit.
Yeah. Gotta love that symbiote suit. This came out back in 1984. I always have to take the double look. This one is graded. This is my baby right here. Yeah, get that 9.8. No touching. But I have to go with the black suit for number one. It's definitely my favorite, and I don't know if you're gonna agree with me, but I always felt that the black suit should have been Spider-Man's original costume.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know per se if I would say if it should have been his original costume, because I mean, the red and blue, it's classic. Red, white, and blue, classic. But I will say this, I definitely feel like he should at least like have the symbiote suit here and there, because the symbiote suit, you can't beat it. It's a classic. It's honestly amazing.
Yeah.
The black and white.
Two best suits right there.
The suit was so popular, it even created the villain we now all know and love as Venom.
Yeah. You know, fun fact for you kids, someone, a Spider-Man fan, drew out the black suit, sent it to Marvel, okay? Originally, the black suit was supposed to be black and red, not black and white.
Oh.
Yeah, fun fact. See, I'm teaching this kid some lessons here.
He knows. He knows.
And then Mike Zeck, who is the creator of the black suit, changed it to white. And another fun fact, when Amazing Spider-Man 252 appeared, which was the first appearance of Spider-Man and the black suit in the Amazing Spider-Man comics, they showed saying, hey, it's the new look of Spider-Man. The rumors are true. So the black suit was actually supposed to stay, and we were probably never going to see the original suit again. But what happened was people complained, and people did not like seeing their favorite character being changed so much from suit, because this is what they were used to and this is what they loved, that people actually sent Marvel death threats.
Really?
Saying that, yeah, they sent Marvel death threats, and one particular gentleman actually sent Marvel saying, if you do not change the suit back, I'm going to commit suicide. That's how bad it went. That's how bad it went. So they eventually changed Spider-Man to go back into his original threads, and then they said, well, you know, we have such a great costume, and we're not going to see this ever again, which is why they gave it to Venom. They made a villain out of it. So good thinking there, Marvel. So good choices, my friend. I really liked your choices.
I liked your
good.
choices.
Thank you. This was a fun little episode. So Thomas, we got a minute left of the show. Why don't you tell the audience a little bit about your show?
Well, my show, if you didn't know, by the time we're doing this, it is going to be on YouTube and stuff like that. It is called Zombies Game Reviews, and similar to Superpower Review, I review stuff, mainly video game related things. I did cover, actually, Amazing Spider-Man, funny enough. I am a diehard Spider-Man fan. As you can see on the shelf, I do have Spider-Man like way at the bottom right there for the Homecoming suit. Speaking of the Homecoming suit, actually, I love how they kind of like paid homage to the original with the like web wings, I guess you could say, or web gliders.
Yeah.
I'll hang on to that.
Or they found a use for his webbing in the costume, because in the comics it served no purpose. It was just for looks. But for the movie, they actually served a purpose, so they
actually helped him glide and stuff like that, which is actually I like.
So good. That whole costume in Homecoming is a good homage to Steve Ditko, who created Spider-Man, other besides Stan Lee writing him. But thanks for being on the show today. I really appreciate it. And I'm so happy to have a in studio guest for Superpower Review, so it's very exciting. So thank you guys for watching. So be sure to like this video if you liked it, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to look at Thomas's show, Zombies Game Reviews. It's really fun. He does a great job with these video games. He's very passionate about video games. So
I am very passionate.
Yeah, he's a huge video gamer. He stays up till midnight playing these games probably.
I do not do that. I don't.
2 o'clock in the morning. So that's going to wrap it up for today's episode. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe, and that's going to do it for today. High five, buddy.